Hello, it is Social Media Saturday, June 4th, 2022. Steve Sipress here, and you may have heard the news. I believe it was Wednesday. Sheryl Sandberg, Chief Operating Officer of Meta, Facebook, whatever, stepping down from her day-to-day role after 14 years, remaining a board member, but stepping down from that, basically running the whole thing. Now, Mark Zuckerberg is known to... he owns like a humongous share of the stock, and it's said that he, pretty much runs everything, makes every decision. But, it's likely that the company, first of all, would still be called Facebook and might still not be making any money if it were not for Sheryl Sandberg coming on board back in 2008 after a successful time at Google. She came on at the time. I think Facebook's revenue was less than $300 million. As Zuckerberg says, he's a tech geek, so he was real good at creating a fun website and a great product that people loved, but couldn't figure out how to make money with it. Sheryl Sandberg came in. She put together the entire Facebook advertising program, which is still to this day the envy of number one advertising program of any business of all time. Although it's been smashed recently, and it's going to get worse with all the privacy concerns. And we as business owners know, if you've run Facebook ads, you know that the future is not nearly as good as the past, the Wild West, when you could just make a killing with Facebook ads rather inexpensively. It became rather expensive, and now it's becoming extremely, extremely difficult to target prospects because of privacy concerns and changes with Apple, Facebook, whatever. But anyway, Sheryl Sandberg put that whole thing together. And so revenues went from under 300 million to over 100, around 120 billion. I think I saw somewhere they said there was a 43,000% increase in revenues of Facebook from the time Sheryl Sandberg came on board with the purpose of figuring out a way to drive revenue until the day 3 days ago where she made the announcement she'll be stepping down as the COO. So her income ought to reflect that, right? Well, she is a billionaire, right? She estimates that I saw say that she's worth $1.6 or $1.7 billion, but now, I'm not a billionaire, so I'm not going to thumb my nose at $1.7 billion. But come on now, Mark Zuckerberg is estimated to be worth $65 or $70 billion and was over 100 for a time. He was, I think, the third richest man in America, according to Forbes, and now he's barely in the top 20, but still, he's worth almost about 40 times as much as Sheryl Sandberg, and yet without Sheryl Sandberg, Mark Zuckerberg would be still, running Facebook and bagging groceries on the side to make money. That's obviously an exaggeration, but he certainly would not be worth nearly $70 billion or so. So that's the first thing I thought of, besides congratulations on all that success. And by the way, 14 years at the helm of that company in internet years is like 17 million lifetimes. That's like Hollywood marriages. Like, they just don't last. Like, people don't last at the top of tech companies for any length of time. So, way to go, Sheryl Sandberg. 1.7 billion, yep, nothing to sneeze at, but as an employee, as the COO, she built that whole thing. The owners, stockholders that own more stock than her, including Zuckerberg himself, primarily, of course, has benefited from her genius and her work and her brilliance more than 40 times what she has. So that's happened to me a bunch of times in my career also, when I had either had clients or worked with companies and help them build up and become massively, massively successful. And of course, my share of that was tiny, minuscule compared to the business owners. So the moral of the story is, congratulations if you are a business owner even more if you're an entrepreneur and you own several businesses and you're always looking to own more and to take on more responsibility and solve more problems and take on chunks of ownership of more businesses. But even if you own just one, remember that that's the benefit. Regardless of what you pay yourself day to day, and business owners, probably all of us at some point, have met payroll and paid everyone else and yet not paid ourselves. But you play your cards right. You surround yourself with the best people you can, like in this case, Mark Zuckerberg getting Sheryl Sandberg on board. Holy moly. Best decision he ever made in his whole life. Greatest thing he ever did by far for himself, for the company. Obviously, there's a lot of trouble, and nothing lasts forever, and Facebook won't be around, or Meta won't be around forever. And this is, of course, Sandberg leaving the day-to-day role is big, huge, big trouble for Meta, Facebook, whatever you want to call it. But we'll see what happens. But the bottom line is, no matter what you pay yourself, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, annually, whatever income it is, you retain the equity. He or she who holds the equity for a successful business, that's where all the big profit, revenue, success is. Sheryl Sandberg versus Mark Zuckerberg. 1.7 billion net worth to about 70 billion net worth. There's the difference. Even if you're responsible for pretty much every single penny that came into the company, if you're not up there with the owners and you just own some shares of stock with your employee, oops, big mistake. Now, will she leave this role at Facebook and go start her own business? Not likely. See, entrepreneurs are entrepreneurs. Employees are employees. She's likely to, she doesn't have to work, obviously, worth $1.7 billion, but she's still relatively young and will likely go work for somebody somewhere. But that's the thing, she'll go work for somebody. So, as long as people are willing to work for others, especially brilliant business people and geniuses like Sheryl Sandberg, man, take advantage. If you don't own a business yet, own a business, employ the best people you can find, and everyone will reap rewards, but you will reap the lion's share of the rewards. That's the lesson. Today on Social Media Saturday, learned by the exit of Sheryl Sandberg as COO of Facebook/Meta after 14 years. Catch you back here again tomorrow on Sunday. Fun day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Over and out. Bye-bye.